On November 6th, something happened. There was a shift, an energetic shift, a timeline shift. Call it what you will, something changed. Something changed radically, and many of us felt it. The women that we now call the 4 a.m. Club, the dreaming women, all felt it, felt something change, something move, something rearrange itself. And when we woke up that next morning, the world was different. We found that we were different. And now we find ourselves in a world turned upside down, but also right side up. For we know, we dreaming women know, that we are going forward and never going back, and we are going forward in a way that we have never gone forward before, which makes this an exciting time, an inspiring, joyful time. At the same time that we are filled with fear and despair, some of us, for we know there is so much that was also lost. And it's hard sometimes to focus on the future when we're so immersed in the present, and the present is filled with chaos. But the Dreaming Women have come to help everybody to remember this is a good thing. We are entering into a good thing. But change is hard. And change is scary. Change is so full of questions and uncertainties. What do we do and how do we do it? What do we not do? What do we avoid and how do we avoid it? Who do we talk to and who do we cut ties off from? Do we follow the old traditions or do we discard the tradition? Do we uproot everything or do we very slowly reform? Do we yell and shout or do we sing pleasant songs? Do we hug one another? Do we love one another? Do we fear one another? Do we come together one with another in community? Or do we hide out in our hidey holes, peering out the windows, unsure? Change is like this. It's always like this. And we can learn a little bit about change from the people who have known change, survived change, remade themselves at the face of change. On Turtle Island, the United States, there are 2 such groups of people who were forced to endure the most awful of changes. First, the indigenous peoples of this land, the native peoples of Turtle Island who were forced to deal with the ordeal of unwanted immigrants coming from Europe, coming with all of their war and disease, running across the land and bringing so much destruction. And then there were the Africans indigenous to the motherland who were kidnapped and forced to come to this land to toil against their will, to build things they could not enjoy. This is the history of our country. This is the land that we live on, drenched in the blood of these peoples. And I am not telling you this story to make you sad, to make you feel guilty, to make you angry. I am just telling you this story to remind you that there are people who have survived the unsurvivable. And we should honor them. We should remember them. We should name them. We should thank them. On this holiday that you call Thanksgiving, where you honor a story made up and told to children, stop just for a moment before your meal, after your meal, during your meal. Stop for a moment and remember whose land you are on. Name that land, honor that land, remember the people of this land. And remember also the people who built the country with the toil of their bodies, with the blood and the sweat and the tears. Let us redefine Thanksgiving this year. Let us redefine this holiday in light of what we have been through since November 5th, in light of this change in timeline, in light of the rise of the divine feminine, in light of who we are becoming. Let us be light holders and light bearers. Let us spread the light of love, of honoring, of gratitude, of thanksgiving to those who came before us, to those who suffered unnecessarily for us. Let us make this day of honoring. Let us make this day a day of absolute and beautiful truth.